So when people are learning how to improvise over something simple like this using pentatonic scale, what people tend to do is they just kind of string together classic blues guitar riffs and then kind of go up and down the scale, kind of like this. So that's kind of an example of like what a lot of people play, over something like that using pentatonic scale. And this is not bad, right? But there are a few things you can do to focus on to improve that. And that's rhythm and just kind of like the concept of developing a motif. And the reason why I kind of encourage people to start learning how to solo with the pentatonic scale is because it has so few notes. Learning to solo with a major scale or minor scale, or even something more complex like different modes and stuff, is tricky because you have too many note choices. So you get lost in options and you forget that what matters is what you're trying to do with the notes you have available. So the first thing you could do is just focusing on a different rhythm. So instead of going I'm trying to play bad just to make a point. Just going up on the scale, mostly the same rhythmic notes. You could try something like but that's already a little more interesting. And you could even just like play single notes and see how you can make it interesting. Then you could kind of just add a few more notes to that. That's already adding a little bit more. Now, this by itself is still very pentatonic-y. It's very boring. What you can do then is to try to create patterns that are kind of repeating and kind of builds on top of each other. And you can kind of build these patterns with your scale exercises and everything, but it could sound something like this. So that had a little bit more of like a repeating rhythms and kind of you're building those sequences back to back to try to have cohesion between different sections. But I'm still everything's still within pentatonic scale. I am using a little bit of slide to move out of this like one box. I'm sure everybody knows like this box here. You can extend it a little bit more. You want to build connection between those two. So those are some of the ideas so far. And then I think you probably noticed that I'm using a lot of different techniques. So I'm using bends, I'm using slides, and then vibrato. All of those things is something you should constantly work on, no matter how simple the melody is, no matter how simple the phrases are. anytime you can, and obviously dynamics and pick attacks, and the slight variation in rhythm, whatever you can do, the nuances, the subtleties. And you might not even think that this really matters, but it really does add a lot. This is something that takes a long time to develop, and it's kind of like if you listen to somebody sing and you can find people who can sing in pitch, but they might not necessarily sound amazing, or they might not be moving. And part of that has to do with how you convey emotions from simple phrases and how you phrase them. So obviously, always good to work on it. So I've just been rambling on. Obviously, this is a very unstructured video because I'm too lazy to do all that. But you can kind of see that what I'm demonstrating here is everything a bit part of who I am and what I'm doing. And it's none of this is fake, right? It might not be world class, but this is all part of how I am and how I play. And you might be thinking, well, this is still pentatonic. It still sounds pretty lame. Well, we've only been playing over one chord. We can just add a little bit of a chord change. And even if I stick to the pentatonic scale, if you use and apply everything that I've been talking about, it will take your playing to the next level. Let me demonstrate. So that was still all pentatonic scale. Just applying everything that I've been talking about in a live scenario, and yeah, it sounded pretty interesting, I think, or as interesting as something as simple as pentatonic scale can sound. And the only change that happened here is like I added just another chord, right? So just the F major and just a little transition, and I'm still soloing over pentatonic scale. Now, once you get here and play around with it, and you have some vocabulary built over minor pentatonic scale, then you can start adding just a couple of notes to make it a different scale. That's how I think you should learn how to solo with, major, minor scale, and blues scale, anything that's a little bit more advanced compared to a pentatonic scale. So I can demonstrate that real quick, and then we're done for the very first lesson. I hope you come back, subscribe, give me a like or something like that. So I can keep putting out these videos. So thanks for watching, and hopefully this was useful.